and welcome to the Benchwarmers block, where each week we'll be covering the biggest games of the week. Whether you're a diehard fan or just getting into football, we hope that you'll join us for this week's action here on the Benchwarmers block. Sports at their core are a shared experience. They are a universal language that can unite people from different backgrounds, cultures, and political viewpoints. A podcast that provides a space for both the fans and the players' perspective taps into this fundamental human need for community. It makes listeners feel like they are a part of an inclusive conversation, not just passive consumers of content. In an increasingly fragmented world, these spaces of shared passion are vital.
Now let's kick things off with a matchup that was all about a tale of two teams' ball securities, the New England Patriots and the Pittsburgh Steelers. The final score was 21-14 with the Steelers pulling ahead, and this only tells part of the story. For the Steelers, the defense was an absolute difference maker. They forced an incredible 5 turnovers against the Patriots, including 1 interception and 4 forced fumbles. This wasn't just a fluke. The defense looked strong, especially in the red zone, where they caused 2 of these forced fumbles. You could talk about specific players like TJ Watt recovering a fumble and Jabril Peppers forcing another, but the overall pressure they put on the Patriots was absolutely relentless.
On offense, Aaron Rodgers wasn't asked to do a lot to win the game on his own, which was a good thing, as his stat line was a very modest 139 yards and 2 touchdowns. While that's very well below the league average and shows some offensive struggles, Rodgers was efficient and made clutch throws when he needed to down the stretch. And most importantly, he avoided the costly turnovers that plagued the Patriots.
Let's just talk about the Steelers real quick. What did you feel from watching the game? How did you feel about the Steelers? Do you think that's going to be consistent?
Yeah.
Or is that just a one-time thing?
One, I think going into the game, I think it was very hard to pick who you choose or were going to choose to win the game. It seemed like the teams, these are two teams that are very recent in memory, known for their defense.
Yep.
Like the Steelers and Patriots, you never have to question their defense.
Nope.
It's always the offensive struggles. And I think more so for the Patriots, even though there was a lot of turnovers, I think you can fix turnovers, you can fix that. But what you can't fix is how receivers aren't getting open.
No.
The Patriots had receivers getting open, they ran the ball well.
Yeah.
But from the Steelers standpoint, it was just a lot of people were just not open.
Yeah.
An NFL game, obviously every game it calls for different things. You're not going to throw for 300 yards every game.
No.
But I think when it comes down to Aaron Rodgers having 130 yards, he did play very efficient, but I think collectively, the offense is just not very good. They can't run the football particularly well. They lost Najee Harris in free agency, so now they're relying on kind of the second running back in that 1-2 punch from last season, and a rookie running back, Caleb Johnson. They don't have a number 2 wide receiver. They have a tight end and Freiermuth, who's pretty good, but the offensive line doesn't block particularly well.
No.
There's just a lot of missing pieces from the Patriots standpoint, or Steelers standpoint.
It's like a rebuild kind of season for the Steelers to see where they have to build from. So their offense is definitely their main priority.
Yeah.
Where they got DK Metcalf in the offseason, but they definitely need more help than just DK Metcalf.
Yeah, definitely, especially because coming into the offseason where they didn't know who their quarterback was going to be, they signed Aaron Rodgers pretty late in free agency. They traded for DK Metcalf pretty late too, so there was a lot of pieces like that. I think they just didn't know what it was going to look like. I mean, coming into it, I think they drafted Will Howard from Ohio State, the quarterback, and then they signed Aaron Rodgers. So people are coming, they're like, oh my gosh, we're about to start Will Howard at quarterback. What is going on? So I think that's definitely showing, particularly in their offense. But their defense is always good. You can always
they've always been solid there.
Yeah, I know TJ Watt had, I believe, he caused a fumble. I think because it was a fourth down play, and they had Matt Collins try to block TJ Watt, and I think he held him a little bit, but they converted the 4th down.
Yeah.
So he was obviously he's holding me, mad at the ref.
Yeah.
And then the next play, he punches the ball out, causes a fumble,
even picks it up himself.
Picks it up, and the Steelers get the ball back.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
You think a problem with the Steelers' offense is that they picked up Aaron Rodgers so late that you don't really have time to kind of connect with teammates and build that trust that quarterback kind of needs with his receivers and running backs? You think him being that late of coming in is a problem that they don't have the connection, say, Drake May has with a bunch of his receivers?
Yeah, I don't know if it's really a problem versus, because in week 1 when they played the Jets, the Jets, their defense hasn't really looked that good.
No,
but they're usually like all right at defense.
They can hold their own.
Yeah. But I think week one he looked pretty good. He threw for like 340.
Yeah.
He had like 3 touchdowns. It was the Jets, but he did look pretty good. I don't know if it's, to answer your question, if it's more so the like not chemistry with the receivers versus like the play calling and versus like the schemes that like the OC is using.
Yeah.
I know Arthur Smith, who was the offensive coordinator for the Steelers, it's nothing new with the Steelers' offensive play calling.
They run the same
like
thing
looking
every year.
questionable. But it's just different when last season they had Najee Harris, who's more of a, I'm not gonna say more of a running back, but for that like scheme, when you have like an O-line,
He fits better.
he fits way better, especially when you have an O-line that's kind of suspect, a bigger back that can like just cut up versus a receiving back and Jalen Warren being the number one. So I think that covered up more of it. But I think this year you're really seeing like their personnel is just not like, they're just outmatched. They just don't have good personnel. Like their number 2 receiver is Calvin Austin, who is a good deep threat, but it's just not a recipe that I think is going to sustain down the road.
So now let's talk about the Patriots. They had a turnover nightmare, we can easily say. No team wants to throw a pick and 4 fumbles. So how do you think they can overcome this game or like this downfall?
The Patriots, honestly, compared to prior years, the offense didn't look terrible.
No.
I think once you just got to cut down the fumbles, like Ramondre Stevenson, 2 fumbles, like 1 on the goal line, that's just not acceptable. Like, that's easy points, especially in a 1-possession game that they lost. That's a huge momentum shifter. It's just the stuff that can't happen. He's known for fumbles, too, so I know it's probably something that he has to work out. But then you also got Antonio Gibson, who fumbled. Drake May had a fumble too, and he had the pick too. So it's just things that if it's one that happens, all right. But when it's 1 fumble and then another fumble and then another fumble, then another fumble,
and then it costs you points,
then a pick, and then it costs you points, especially when the defense is giving you the ball back. Because the Patriots defense was doing a very good job of giving the
Patriots defense has always been solid in these rebuild years. You've seen them grow exponentially.
Yeah. But Drake May, he looks good though. There were some throws that he made
where were questionable.
Yeah, there were some questionable throws, but there was also some throws where it was like, okay, like I can see why he was drafted so high. You know, so it's a work in progress. I think the more that they work at it, like it's all gonna mesh together. I think they'll be all right.
Let's talk about Ramondre Stevens real quick. He's been in the league for a while now, and we've known he's capable of running the ball. We've seen it in years prior. What do you think with these 2 fumbles that happen in one singular game? What do you think his where he's going to end up on the roster? You think we're going to keep him as the starter, or if he's just going to get brought down?
Yeah, I think moving forward, they're more so going to rely on Travion Henderson, especially with him being a 2nd-round draft pick. That means that they're obviously highly invested in him. He had a pretty good preseason as a returner as well. I think he scored on the punt return in the preseason first play. So I think they're going to start relying on him. I think Ramondre Stevenson, I think it just comes down to more so like a what's your game? Like rather than relying on him as the first down, 2nd down back, more so as the 3rd and 1, we need this. We need somebody
when
to,
you actually
know what I'm saying?
it.
We need somebody to lower their shoulder, a real physical guy that's going to get this 1 yard. I think it's just situational. But it's also, I mean, a running back, like you can't rely on somebody that just can't hold on to the ball. Like especially
that's what costs you.
Yeah, especially the running backs, like their shelf life in the NFL is just it's not a big window at all.
No.
Especially when you're fumbling, like
you have a very small gap to show why you deserve to be in the NFL.
Yeah.
And he's shown it, but a lot of people now after that week's game, you can see people on the internet start not trusting the Patriots running back. So it might be a problem, and he might have to prove himself eventually.
Yeah, but I don't know. It's something that's plagued them in the past. Ramondre Stevenson has fumbles. I guess we just got to see how it looks moving forward. But I do expect them to take his snaps like a little down as the season begins to move on.
All right, now let's talk about Drake May. He had a pretty substantial game that day, throwing for 268 yards and 2 touchdowns.
Yeah.
But his turnovers, once again, the whole team, it was costly. If they didn't have those turnovers, who knew how the game would have gone?
Yeah. Especially in a 1-score game like that, the final score was 21-14.
Yep.
So it's obviously every game is different.
Yeah.
The tail of the game is different. You really got to watch. But I think it really just came down to like those turnovers. Like there were very good plays that they would made. Like they would make good strides, but it was like every time they took 3 steps forward, they were going a step backwards, and it just seemed like they just couldn't get out of their own way. Like they were every chance they had to give the game away, they were giving the game away, and it was very apparent.